How about that? That's too hot. Too hot? How's that? How's that? All right, I'm just back from Bakersfield, baby. It's been a long weekend. I'll talk about that in a minute. There we go. How's the volume? Good? Okay. Up, down on volume? Okay, perfect. All right, cool. I can go up higher. I can go lower. Let's see here. Yeah, I'm buzzing like crazy. All right, so I have there we are. Let's see. Okay. We good? All right, just making sure. Okay. All right, so let's see. Let's start over here. In theory. Let me pull everything up. I am a little out of sorts because okay, thanks. Thanks, Mario. Okay, let me close out. I got windows open everywhere. Normally, I like to prepare. We're not prepared. Not even close. Not even like 10% prepared. I'm like, I just walked the dog. I took care of a few things. Hung out with my girls for a minute. One of them's knocked out, but the other one was up, and we had to kind of catch up. I was out a couple of days. My youngest daughter had a tournament in Bakersfield, and so she's 13 years old, and we had a nice fun weekend. She played in 5 games, went 3-2, 2 different teams, same organization. She plays up to level 14, age 14. She's 13, and then she plays on 13. One game she was really dominant. It was very cool. I'll try to post a clip or two at some point. And she actually played with a mask the entire time. So if you're worried about that sort of thing, which we were obviously, she played great. She was very comfortable playing in a mask. She's been practicing in a mask and all that. So point guard, shooter, all that. All right. So where were we? So I kept as tied in and involved and did show after show. Did a lot of stuff with Basketball News with Alex Kennedy and Spin and all those guys. Thank you for having me on, and been kind of busy. So let's take a look. I've been tracking stuff. I've been involved with stuff. I predicted a few things, broke a few things. That's not really my beat, my main beat, trying to predict stuff, but I did all right. I had a few. All right, so I'm looking at the chat. We're going to take a minute. Look at the chat. I mean, I didn't shave or anything like that. Put on a nice shirt. Basketball Insiders. Of course, I also write for Bleacher Report. I want to say that the music, if you dig the music, that is my wife. She's a producer, so hit me up if you're interested in anything like that. If you're interested in music, or if you're a performer and you need tracks, she produces tracks. And my daughter Juliana did the opening graphic. All right, so I'm going to run through the chat, just see if there's anything going on that I don't know. I see a lot of people saying hi. It's too many names to name. It's just a lot of people today, which is very cool. And some people, John Fish, old friend, thank you. Yeah, the original link was bad. I set it to private. I was rushing. It happened. Like I said, I haven't slept much. I just got back from Bakersfield. All right, breaks down the Bucks. We're going to focus mostly on the Lakers. That's our title of this stream, and I know that's a lot of our audience. I want to break down the Bucks and all these other teams. It probably won't happen today on the stream. My job is to basically break down the entire league for Basketball Insiders as far as the salary cap and the pages. So what I'm going to do is just pop over to here, and we take a look. So we have all of the 30 teams. We're going to jump to Lakers real quick, and it should not be updated yet because I have been out of town. I've been in Bakersfield. So let me pull this over here just a moment. Don't mean to look away. Pull the chat over here. So where are we? Geez, I think I didn't wait, on this side, I didn't set my green light. I have a green light that makes the green screen a little better. Did not turn it on, so we're a little fuzzy today. Also, you see my hair, a little green in the hair. All right, so I haven't updated everything. I think we'll roll it over to 2021 now that I'm back in LA, and I'll start to populate it with all the new data. So if you want to know what players are making, most of the reports you see are estimates. My job is to break down the actual salaries, break down and list all the transactions. And you can see here all the little detail, the Lakers as far as transactions. I haven't even gotten to the point where I put in the transaction for the Dennis Schroeder one. So a little bit behind, but I've been doing a lot of shows and then also traveling. So it's kind of par for the course. And this is also the most compressed and craziest thing. This NBA offseason has been nuts. It's been fun. We're looking at like a week worth, and they're doing like a month's worth of stuff in it, right? Usually you have the draft, but you have the lead up to the draft. You have all that kind of preparation, and then you have the draft, and then you have a week, and then you have free agency. And then there's like a 5-day waiting period, and then people start signing. So we usually have just some breathing room. The entire NBA, there's no breathing room right now at all. We're going to get into all the don't wave bell and all that stuff. That's NASC. My sourcing, and I'm not the first person to say this, is that Bell does not sound like he's staying. You guys are going to have to help me as far as I can't really stream and then watch Twitter. I can't even update. I haven't checked emails. I am super behind, but we're going to have some fun. All right. So, what do we have? Couple of things we need to say. So we're going to go back. So this is the link. I'm going to go ahead and let's jump over here to our Google Sheet, and I'm going to pop this in the chat so that you have something to work with. And you can follow along. So I like to build these things from scratch so that we can learn it together. So I have some of this stuff already computed, but I'm not going to use any of that. I'm not going to go over anything else. I don't want to. I want us to discover it together so that you can see how we get there, as opposed to me telling you this is where we are. I don't think that teaches as much. So we can kind of reach that moment together. So Ari is saying Bobby Marks said Bell will be waived, and I had seen that. And my job is not to take people's word for it, but Bobby is pretty much as close as you're going to get to a lock. Bobby's awesome. I'm friends with Bobby, and I have great respect for him. But it's still my job to not just accept reports. It's my job to actually get to the source and verify stuff. And I can't verify it with another reporter, right? I have to verify it with sourcing that I can feel is like league-related sourcing. That is somebody who has eyeballs on it, as opposed to another media person who 100% probably has eyeballs on it. But my job, I can't just go by another reporter and then take their eyeballs and say I'm just going to go by their eyeballs. And Bobby would probably say the same thing. That if I reported something, he's not going to assume it's true. That if you're a good journalist, that's your job, is to just not assume that someone says something that's true. That said, ESPN and Bobby and Woj and those guys are fantastic and brilliant at what they do. So I would say when Bobby says that, it's probably true. And then I asked around and reached out to a few people. And there you go. All right, so let's do it. Let's see here. So you have the link. You have the page, and we're going to dig in right now. So I was stalling a little bit to make sure we got as many people in the chat as we can. I think it's time that we dig in. All right, yeah, we got a decent number here. So, all right, so let's take a look. So we have the link on line 7, Basketball Insiders. That will take you to the page with the salaries. Number 2, line 8, Larry Kuhn's FAQ is where you can read and study and learn. So if this is something that you're interested in, give that a look. Larry's a good friend, and that is like your cliff notes to learn the next line, number 9, which is the actual CBA, which you can find on the NBA PA, which is the Players Association website. And it's hard to read. Start with Larry's FAQ. You feel like you got that, then hit the actual CBA. I don't know how much we're going to dig into any of those today, because we're going to dig more into the numbers. So I like to start at the start, right? That's a good place. So let's dig in with the Lakers. Let's jump right into where they were and where they're going. All right. Now you should be able to see this. It's a little tight. I'm going to shrink it down a little bit and hopefully it won't be too blurry. But if you're in the document, which I just posted, I'll post it one more time, then you should be good. You should be able to see it with your own eyes and follow along. So I'll post it one more time. There you go. Just in case you didn't have it. That should be the Google Doc. Okay, so this is where we start. And so what we're going to do is we have a trade, right? We have Danny Green out. Who else was out? Number 28 is out. So that's not listed here, right? It is easier to follow along in the document, by the way. I highly recommend it. All right, we're going to try to go quickly now because I don't want to spend 6 hours on this thing. Dennis Schroeder, right? So he's in. Oops, a little too big. All right, he's in. And I'm going to pop in a couple other numbers, and then we'll jump right into it. Trade in. Okay, and then they also had number 28, right? Now, you guys might need to help me make sure I don't miss something because a lot has happened. And to be honest, I was on the road for some of it, so I didn't get to digest it the way I would normally like to. So here it is, number 28, Lakers first. A first-round pick takes up a certain number of a team's cap space, and we'll get into what the issues are. So that's Lakers first right there, number 28. Who went 28? I have that right here. Pull that over here. At this point, I know this, but at this point, my mind's a little blank from this travel. There it is, Jaden McDaniels. Jaden McDaniels. All right, so let's dig in. Okay, I'm getting an error message. We good? Let me know, folks. I don't know why I'm getting this error message here, but it says it's not enough video or something. Are we still streaming? Okay, Brandon. Hold on. Okay, we're good. Robert Farmer, we're good. Okay. I need the chat to just tell me we're all good. Yep, looks good. Okay. All right. Okay, cool. Yeah, it's rolling again. It's probably my kids on Zoom and stuff. All right, so let's keep going. What happened, right? So it's important to understand that the year 2019, 2020 in and of itself is something else, right, than 2020, 21. The cutoff is like New Year's Day, right, which just happened. It was the 20th, the 21st, I think, was our New Year's Day. And I think this is our first day that we can actually sign. So we had a single day moratorium. And so all the moves that happened before this are based on the previous year's numbers. Now, that doesn't change a team's tax bill. It doesn't, it doesn't impact who gets what money. Like the team that has the player's salary on at the draft or the last month in June because of a trade, all the money has already been paid or will be paid by the original team. It's paced out actually over time, but it's not the new team's responsibility. The last day of the season is that cutoff, but you still can make trades off of the 1920 numbers. So that's what we have with Dennis Schroeder and Danny Green. So this is post trade, and I'm going to scroll. I'm going to copy and paste and put it in, and I'll scroll in just a moment. Here we go. So we have Mr. Schroeder. I feel like it should be Schroeder, but maybe I'm saying it wrong. If I'm saying it wrong, I'm saying it wrong. Okay, so that went in and out, and we also have the Lakers first, which we're not really computing cap space, so that's not going to be the question. Oh, I'm supposed to also say another thing. Like the video. Let's see. Like the video and subscribe to my channel. Hit the notification bell so that you can, instead of finding it on Twitter, maybe you missed it, you'll get a notification. Also, at the top of this sheet, you'll see my Venmo and Patreon. Sign up for Patreon. To me, that's the best because we can have a regular relationship. Venmo, if this is for people who want to support the arts, if you want to call this the arts, because my time is valuable and I want to stream more. But it has to make sense financially. So if you have the means, and if you don't feel obligated, enjoy the show. Let's talk and let's learn together. But if you have a little something, every little bit helps. Also, Twitter, @Eric Pincus. And if you need something, hit me at eric.pincus at gmail.com. All right. Enough with the plugs. So here we are. So Dennis Schroeder in. Again, we're not going to calculate the money. We're not looking at cap. We're not looking at anything 2019 20 anymore because it's over. But we do need to look at this summer, right, or this off season. So what we're going to do is we're going to start to pare it down. Let's get rid of this column. We're just going to cut and paste. And hopefully everything will transfer. Boom. All right, so AD, we're going to assume that he resigns. So let me pop in that number. Let me get it from over here. There it is. Okay. Assumed max on resign. Okay, Dennis Schroeder. And now we're going to talk about this. Incentives, question mark. KCP opted out. Luol Deng on the books. We're going to move him down a little bit. Get him out of the way for now. Avery Bradley opted out. KCP, we're not worried about cap holds. We're not worried about calculating cap space. It's a very different process. JaVale opted in. So let's change him to black. Quinn Cook was waived and stretched. Okay, so we'll get to that in a moment. Stretched. Rondo opted out. Markieff isn't back yet. Maybe he will, maybe he won't. Dwight is gone. Kuzma's there. Caruso's still there. These aren't quite necessarily in order of dollar figure, but let's just pop it in here. And then we have Luol Deng, of course. Okay, I think that's that. And you know what I'm going to do to make this a little easier for us to count? We're going to just do a numbering so that we can make sure we track how many players we have on the roster. 15 max. We're going to pop Luol Deng to the bottom. I'll scroll in a minute if you can't see. I think you're good. Okay. There we are. And then what we're talking about here, we're going to end up talking about a hard cap. Let's punch this in, and we're going to keep going. Bear with me. Right there. Hard cap. So they're under it initially. And why do they have a hard cap? Oops. Do they have a hard cap? If it's a little small on the stream, I'm going to make it a little bigger. Let's see what it looks like. Okay. But I still recommend, and I'll pop it in one more time. There you go. I haven't put in any of the new players, folks. The only new player I put in is Anthony Davis. We're going to assume that he signs that. I haven't placed in any of the agreed to contracts. We're going to figure that out together. And I might need some help from you. If you want to post in the reported totals into the chat, not everybody. Oh, I guess everyone will do it. I haven't copied and pasted. I have to look at that. So if you want to give me what the reported number is, I have an idea of it. Yeah, I have to put Cook in. We're going to do that in a second. But go ahead give me what the reported number. I know I'll probably get like 30 people doing it for KCP. I know what the other numbers are, but KCP is the one. I need his total contract that was agreed to. 3 years, $40 million. Is that what the report is? Thank you, Savage. And you got to tell me, is it Savage or Savage? All right, tell me. I know Wes. I know what Trez is going to get. The only one that is a variable is going to be KCP, which is 3 year, 40. Okay. So we'll figure that out together. All right. So what happened so far? So one thing, they waived and stretched. So we're going to get to each a little bit. In fact, I'm going to copy and paste this so someone following along can kind of see the questions before we get to the answers. Okay. All right. So again, we're assuming this. So let's just color this purple. Yeah, just because it's not, this is an assumed number. Okay, so we're talking about a hard cap. We're going to get in each thing. Dennis Schroeder has incentives. They include, let me see if I can find it. I can't show that on screen, but I can look it up, and hopefully I won't put it somewhere. I believe I put it on my desktop. There it is. Okay, you should not be able to see this. Okay, so what his incentives include. Okay, so if he plays in at least 65 regular season games and plays in at least 50% of the team's playoff games, then he will get, if the team plays in the finals, $250,000. If they win a championship, $250,000. Now, those are unlikely incentives because it did not happen for the Thunder in 2018-19. So for 2019-20, those would be considered unlikely. Now, you could say that, well, the Lakers won, so wouldn't that go into his incentives as likely, where you would expect that to happen? The answer is no. I want to... He did not earn this incentive last year. But I do want to talk to someone because I can argue that if he played in 65 regular season games for the Thunder, which I assume, and that's a prorated amount. So 65 based on this season, it would have to be, they would base it, I believe on the percentage, 65 82s of however many games were played in this regular season. So let's assume that he hit that and that he played in 50% of his team's playoff games. You can argue that this is a likely incentive. I will say this. It doesn't matter. The reason that it doesn't matter... Hold on, I'm streaming, guys. All right. It doesn't matter because when you're doing a hard cap, all incentives go into the hard cap number when you're calculating the apron. So his cap number could change for the Lakers, and I'll need to investigate this. I haven't thought it through. But I can make an argument that that this should be now a likely incentive. Even though he didn't earn it himself, based on this criteria, he would have earned it. So in theory, his cap number could go up from 15.5 to 16. Doesn't matter because they're not going under the cap. It doesn't matter because all the incentives go into this apron calculation. So part B of his incentive, if he's named NBA All-Star, and also plays in 65 games, and the team gets to the first round of the playoffs. So have to make the playoffs, 65 games, $1 million being an all-star. So this is something that will exist for Schroeder on the Lakers. I'll say Schroeder. If it's wrong, tell me. And then if he's named to an NBA first, second all defensive team, $500,000. So he has in total 250, $1 million, 500, so that's $2 million. So what matters, because it doesn't matter for the salary cap. We don't care about the salary cap anymore. We're not calculating how much cap room they have. We're calculating the apron number, which is a totally different number. There are 3 different numbers. How much tax a team pays is one calculation. How much a team has towards the apron, the hard cap, is a different number. And then how much cap room a team has is a different number entirely. And then a fourth would just be their team salary. So yeah, there's a lot. They don't make this stuff easy, but once you learn it, it's not crazy. So we're gonna change that to 175. So $2 million of incentives above a 15.5 base. Okay, is that all clear? Did I explain that correctly and well? Schroeder, phonetic is Schroeder. So someone's telling me WL is saying phonetic equals Schroeder. Okay, Michael Hicks. Hey, Hicks, what's up? He says Thunder played 72 games, so Schroeder had to play 57. All right, so... all right, come on, Nathan. I don't have someone... Is the site lagging? Here, are we lagging? And I need a moderator. I have to remove Nathan, unfortunately. Okay, give me a second here if we're lagging. Here, I'm going to boot this guy. See if I can boot him. Put user in timeout. Okay. For 3, I at some point I am going to need a moderator for these, obviously. That's the first time I've had someone spam the chat. Okay, we're good? Yeah, it's laggy a little bit. So I'm told if you refresh it, it'll be fine. I have right now an excellent connection. I'm going to text my entire family to stay off Wi-Fi. Like streaming and stuff. In case, they're always looking at stuff. So hold on a second. Just a moment. Okay. It could just be I'm on Spectrum, and actually I've had good experience with them, but it just could be the way it is right now. So if we run into a real problem, I'll deal with it. All right, so we're good. We're good for now. Okay, seems like we're good. It says excellent condition. It seems like a couple of times now I've had this weird error message never seen before. So hopefully we won't get there again. All right, so let's get back into it. Okay, so again, Schroeder, I'll say Schroeder. We'll stick with Schroeder. All right, he has that 17.5 number. Hold on a second. Okay. Just trying to, there it is. Okay, we're good. All right, so Hicks is telling me, yeah, Hicks, we'll talk about that. Hit me up on that. He's suggesting mobile cellular, MFi, MiFi, Wi-Fi. I don't know. I'll figure it out. We'll talk later. You know where to reach me. All right, so let's see. We have AD plugged in. We have JaVale. Okay, so we're going to get to JaVale in a minute, but they waived and stretched Cook, so let's take care of that now. So what waiving and stretching does is over the life of the remainder of the contract, he had $1 million guaranteed. Over the life of his contract, how many years did he have left? 1 year. So what you do is you multiply 1 times 2 and then add 1. Let's put some parentheses in here. There we go. That equals 3. 3-year stretch. 3-year stretch of 1 mil. So what does that equal? 333, 333. I'm told to stay off Wi-Fi. You know what? It's my Wi-Fi is like lightning fast. I'm not gonna have a problem on Wi-Fi. The way I have my house set up, the Wi-Fi is, I've got like super duper set up. It's gonna be the connection to Spectrum. If it has a problem, if we really run into a problem, I might try to run a wire, but I'm guessing it's my connection to Spectrum is glitching a little bit. But so far so good, right? It was just that 1 or 2 times. So let me know in chat, folks, if you see anything wrong or groovy or if we're set. Let's color that. Okay, so this is going to be the Cook stretch. Let's just put Quinn Cook. Okay. So there we have it. Okay. Dang. Okay, so let's keep going. Total that up. So that's Cook. So let's take off the $3 million. He's out. Doesn't go into our numbers. I'm gonna just, for those coming back later, let's pop him out. He's gone. Delete all that. I suggest you follow along in the worksheet. Scroll up if you haven't seen it. Okay, so where are we? Now they used their this is the first move they actually made. They used their biannual exception, and they have officially signed Wesley Matthews. So what that did, and this is what the biannual exception is. I'm not gonna talk about 2021, 22 right now. We're not gonna talk about future seasons. We're not gonna put the math in for future seasons because it doesn't matter right now. We're only worried about this season. The Lakers next season will not have a hard cap. It expires at the end of the year, and the moment we roll over, to the next season, no hard cap. Let's focus on the future. In the future, we're only focused right now on this year, so I'm not worried about like what KCP makes in the future. But what happened is Wes signed at the biennial exception. This triggered a hard cap for the Lakers. That's why Wes. Why do they have a hard cap? Why? Wes via BAE. We call biennial exception BAE. That's the short term for that, the slang for that. Okay, so what else are they going to do? They're going to also sign Montrezl Harrell. And they're going to do it at the full mid-level. Again, it's going to be a multi-year deal, I believe, right? Isn't it 2 years? Something like that. Even if it was 1 year, I don't care, right? Right now, all we care about is this year. So I'm making it this color. Let me know if there's some colorblind folk. But basically, this is the non-taxpayer MLE. I'll type it out. Mid-level exception. We'll call it the NTMLE. Now, what's interesting is the Lakers will be a taxpayer. Why is it called the non-taxpayer mid-level when they're a taxpayer? I don't know. It shouldn't be, but it is. Okay, yeah, 2 years player option. So has an option on the second year. Again, not really focused on the future years. Where I'm focused on right now is this year, because this is what matters. The books for this year is what really where we're at. Okay, so we're inching ever closer. They've got 19 million to use. Okay. What else have they done? Well, they traded the first, so the first is out, right? This got traded to OKC. And what else do we have? Let me pop it up. They are trading JaVale McGee to the Cavs. Okay. Have I left anyone out? Who am I leaving out? KCP. There you go. Let's put in KCP. Now, there you go. Contavious. Let's just put in KCP. Save the time. Contavious is too long. You know, they call him Kenny. And I was like, I remember, I think it was Luke calling, it was like talking about Kenny. And I was like, who's Kenny? Took a minute to realize that's Contavious' nickname, which makes sense if you're hanging out with a guy and every time you need to say his name, you're saying Contavious. All right, so yeah, I'm not worried yet about Bell and McKinney. We'll get to the trade part of it in just a second. We'll get to the Gasol part of it. I'm trying to get to the pre-Cavs move. So let's get to KCP. All right, so 40 million. So if we just do a little math here, right, and we're going to start, there are different ways to do this, and I have some tricks that we're not going to use. We're going to just start at a basic point, right? 10, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So we can figure it out together. He's eligible for 8% raises. So we're going to go 8 times 1.08. Okay. And then we're going to multiply this times 2 and subtract by that. Okay. Again, I'm not trying to figure out his salary now. We're just coming up with like a ballpark. Okay. So if he signed at that number, so he got obviously more than that. Let me format the numbers. Okay. So that was the number that I had, that from what I had been sourced was the starting point for KCP. This is what the Lakers were offering. And that's why we had this period of delay that felt like a long period of time, but it was really just a day where KCP was kind of in the wind and sort of seeing, was there more out there to get? And the Lakers kind of ran through the scenarios of how could they get to more money. And one of them was to try to get KCP a little bit more. So this was the Lakers. This is what I was told was Lakers' starting point. This is why we're using this number here. So 10 million, 8% raises. Yes, Steven, he's giving me a tip. I need some advice. I actually have been talking to some people about how to maximize my streams and stuff. We'll dig into that. And if you could ping me and we could chat about it offline. You see my Twitter. You see my email. It should be in the Google Doc. That's great advice, and I want to actually learn more from that. So there's the Google Doc if you didn't get it. Okay, let's get back to the chat. So 10 mil. Okay, so this is the starting point, but that's not where they ended up. So if we need to move up to 40 mil, now the number that was given was this. So I'll take Daz's number, which is not the computed number. Oops, I don't know if I got it right. 1, 2, 3, 2, 1. I don't know what this is. I don't know who sourced that. I don't know. Maybe someone from the internet. But as far as I know, Daz is the source of that. Let's pop that in to the math and see how close we get. So that's how you get to 39,921. So that works for me. That's close enough. So yeah, let's just put it in there. I don't know that that's the number. I will say this. What happens to when agents give out numbers, they tend to exaggerate them. So if someone says, oh, it's 40 million, it might be 39. It might be 30. Yeah, it's usually not going to be less than it wouldn't be maybe 39.4. Like they'll round up 39.3. Yeah, that's pushing it. They might, but anything over 39, they might round up. So I'm assuming he got over 39. He might have gotten 12 million starting. Like I could see like they gave KCP exactly 12 million, and he got 38.8, and they rounded up to 40. So no, that's probably two. So yeah, 12,250. Maybe they have a round number. It'll probably be that. If I were to guess, that's probably his starting salary. Like a lot of times they choose round numbers when they work deals, but we'll give it a shot. We'll use this one. No harm in it. It doesn't really matter. We'll get the actual number when he signs and it comes through. But it's probably this. That's a good round number. It could be this 12,300. Something like that. That looks good. Maybe that's it. Maybe it's 12,350. Let's see what that looks like. Yeah, I could see that. That's another one. Something like that. I kind of like 12,350. Unless someone else sourced it. Let's go with that. I like that one. Okay, so, and again, it's not signed. We're going to color it. Okay. So, all right, where are we? So now we are at 7 million, just under 7 million. And so let's see. Assume max on sign-in. 2 million's above with incentives. Trading to the Cavs. So let's get to that. Biennial exception. This is the non-taxpayer. Triggered hard cap. We already said that above. I think we did, right? Yep. Did we? All right, we'll leave it in. And the non-taxpayer mid-level. And then bird rights, which allow a team to pay up to the max. KCP was eligible for up to 20. What was his max? His max, I think he's mid-tier. 32.7. Let me check his years of service. I don't think he's 27. How many years of service does KCP have? Yeah, so he's middle tier. So he could have gotten up to 32 million. That wasn't going to happen. Almost 33. All right, so what else do we have? What else happened, right? So the Lakers need to fill out the rest of their roster. So let's just pop in min, and I know Gasol is happening and all that, but let's just pop in a bunch of mins, okay? Let's say they don't even go to 15. Let's say that they stop at 15. And it's going to, each player, no matter what, even if they signed a rookie at the minimum, it's still going to be this number because that's how they compute the tax. The salary, let's say they signed some rookie for 898, 310. That's the rookie minimum. They don't have any second round picks. So that player's tax calculation would be pushed up to the 2-year vet min of 1.6. So it doesn't matter. And the goal here from the league side is to encourage teams not to just get to a hard cap and sign a bunch of rookies to, as a way of they want to protect the veterans. It's the veterans who are in the union. It's not the rookies, right? We're gonna add in Marc Gasol in a minute for those who are asking, unless you're spamming. Please don't spam the chat. I think we're good, though. All right. So as you can see, as we plug in 4 minimum contracts, and that's not even getting to a 15th, right? Now we're over. We're illegal. Okay. So as of this is an illegal team. So with KCP at this number, and again, if we chop off 100,000, whatever, Wesley Matthews, Montrezl at that figure. We know those are the numbers. I mean, assuming they got the full mid-level. We're going to assume AD gets the max. No one else is being traded outside of JaVale, which we'll get to in a moment. And you fill in with 5 minimums, we're illegal. Lakers cannot do that. So this is why they're making this trade, because they want to be able to field the roster. They would like to get to 15 if they can. We'll find out if they can. All right, so now we have a trade, right? So they're trading for these folks. Let me pull them in. And there, you know what? I think I need to bring this in all the years for illustration purposes. Okay, you should be able to see all that. And one more, Jordan Bell. Both players are fully non-guaranteed in all of these years, except for the first. All non-guaranteed. Guaranteed. And then we copy in the years. Okay. So if the Lakers wanted to stretch one of these numbers, and we'll talk about why in a second, we use the formula above where we said it's 2 times the number of years plus 1. Okay. If they wanted to stretch Alfonso McKinney, let's just sum up his money. I'm sorry. That's not the case. You know what? If I do this, we're missing a step. Let's rewind. Neither of these players are guaranteed. Someone had to be guaranteed to make this work, and I'll explain why in a moment. Let's jump over to here. Let's take a look at the Cavaliers real quick. Look at the Cavaliers together. Okay, you've got their salaries. You see here we have Alfonso McKinney. This is early bird rights, salary non-guaranteed until these dates. Non-guaranteed, non-guaranteed, non-guaranteed. Jordan Bell. Salary non-guaranteed until February 24th, 2021. That's this number right here. These numbers in this first column have no application because we are now in this year. And let's scroll down, and we're going to look at their trade exceptions. Okay, so this is the number that we're looking for. Copy that. Let's jump back over here. Okay, so the Cavaliers do have a trade exception. The problem is it's not big enough. Okay, so let's take a look here at JaVale. So what they can do for the JC TPE, traded player exception, they can take in up to 3.3937 which is not enough for McGee. So they were unable to use this exception. So it's worthless. It's like a gift card. Imagine a gift card where you could not combine gift cards. Let's say you had a gift card for, whatever, Subway, and you had a gift card for Fat Burger. I don't know. I was just driving, so these are the restaurants I saw. I did not stop at along the way. And a gift card for Starbucks. And let's say you want to go spend, you have a $10 gift card at Starbucks and you want to get something that's $11. You can't use your gift card from Subway and pay them at Starbucks with that, right? That's the logic of you can't combine anything. It's a hard limit. So therefore they need to make a trade with players. And these are the salaries that we're going to use. So let's look at the McGee trade. And we're going to backtrack McGee trade math. How do we get to McGee? Let me copy his number. Am I off by no, that's okay, sorry, I didn't explain. You can pad by 100,000. Sorry, I just assume everyone's like, of course you know that. In a trade exception, you can take in $100,000 more than the exception itself. Allowed to take in 100,000 more than the actual trade exception. Can't type all of a sudden. Number. There you go. So The Jordan Clarkson trade exception plus 100,000 equals 3937. So thanks for catching that. I'm going to. It's very possible I'm going to assume I missed something. I assume you guys know something, and it's please say something because it's easy for me to gloss things over and just forget that some things are not as well known. So all right, so McGee is at 4-2. So here's the challenge. When you send out, now the Cavaliers are not over the tax. I'm not going to go back to their page. I'm telling you they're not, and you're going to believe that, and it's true. And if you want to look at the Basketball Insider's page to verify that, go ahead. But they are not over the tax, and because of that, they can match up to 175% plus 100,000 of the outgoing salary. This is Cavs matching, but it has to be guaranteed salary to match. So in the case of, and we're at Jordan Bell, Alfonso McKinney, and we're these two numbers here. If you total it up, it equals 0 because none of that is guaranteed. So the Cavaliers can accept 175% of 0, so 1.75 plus 100,000, which makes no sense, right? It's not even 100,000. So they need to guarantee some of this. Some or all of this needs to be wow, it's all right, we're good. Some of this all needs to be guaranteed. Okay, sorry, I got a message from the Google Doc. I need to publish it or something. I might have a bigger audience than I'm used to. If someone's having a problem with the document, let me know. It says publish to the web. I could try it. So let me know in the chat any issue with the Google Doc. It's telling me to publish it because I guess maybe we're getting too many people in it. Let me know if there's a problem. If anyone can access the Google Doc, let me know, and we'll get there. So some of this needs to be guaranteed. The question is how much. So what we're going to do is we're going to reverse engineer. JaVale, 4-2, 1-2. Let's copy, and we're going to subtract 100,000. Less 100K. Is 4-1. Okay, so now we have the 175%. So we're going to divide that by 1.75. Divide by 175%. This is the matching amount. We're reverse engineering. Oh, yeah, so let me give you the link to the Google Doc if you haven't seen it. Okay. Highly recommend those watching. Check out the Google Doc. All right, so there we have it. So that's the amount that needs to be guaranteed. So that the Cavaliers need to send out 2,342,857 of guaranteed, all caps, salary to match JaVale. And to do so, let's just test that, right? So it was this number, and if we multiply it times 1.75 plus 100,000, we get JaVale's salary, right? So we've now tested it. So what they need to do is they need to guarantee 2.342 of this money. So my understanding, and we mentioned Bobby Marks reporting this, and the last, I'm going to check some texts real quick. Okay, no new texts. Okay, cool deal. So the last word I have, and I'm going to stick with it for now, and maybe it changed, and let me know in chat if something has changed. I froze up again. Is that what F in chat means? Damn it. Okay, my stream is back now. They were back. Bummer on this. Okay, this is the first time I've had any lag ever. This is maybe like my 5th or 6th stream. Yep. I know it's laggy. Are we back yet? Okay, really weird. All right, well, I will definitely research why this is happening down the road. Let's get right back into it. Again, hit me in the chat if it's still laggy. Is that what F in the chat stands for, is freezing? All right, I guess that's probably the derivation. Okay, everyone seems good. Okay, let's keep going. All right, so F is to pay respects. Yeah, usually, yeah, right? That's what I knew, but maybe, I don't know, I got a bunch of Fs when it froze, so maybe that's where it comes from. All right, so where was we? Okay, so we're going with the assumption that they fully guarantee Alfonso McKinney. The Lakers keep him. This is sourced first that I know of by Bobby Marks, but I heard similar from my inquiries. Now, so how much more do they need, right? So we have, this is the amount they need for JaVale. Cavs must send out this much G for guaranteed. And then they need to send, well, let's put in, that's the remainder. So what that would tell me is that at a minimum, Jordan Bell's contract needs to be $580,061 guaranteed. So Asman is saying, I think it was a guess by Bobby Marks. I can't speak to it. I have asked around, and what I had heard was that McKinney is sticking and Bell is not. They can keep both, and we will run the numbers with both, keeping both. But let's go with this assumption for a minute and see what they need to do. So to make this trade legal, Jordan Bell, what would happen is as the trade is developing, they would reach out to Jordan Bell's agent, who I believe, if I take a look, the last, I don't know if this is up to date, is Aaron Mintz of CAA Sports. Why does that matter? Marc Gasol is CAA Sports. These things are all connected. They are all connected. Why is Jordan Bell willing to do something favorable for the Lakers here? And, you know, like, for one, they could just waive him outright. But so basically the way it works is that the Lakers would call Aaron Mintz and say, hey, we're trading for your client. But to do so, I guess it would be the Cavaliers who would be doing it. The Cavaliers would call up Aaron Mintz and say, we're trading Jordan, but we need to guarantee some of his contract. So what we're going to do an amendment for $580,061. We need you to sign off on that. And Aaron Mintz says, okay. He says no, and they're like, well, then we'll waive him anyway, and he'll get nothing. Or maybe he says, do it for $600,000 flat so they can make an extra $20,000. That's a possibility. People are saying, like, I thought, Steven Dawson's asking, I thought Cook was waived and stretched. We did waive and stretch him. If you're following along in the document, you'll see that at some point along the way. But let's just say that Aaron Mintz and Rob Pelinka, I don't think have had a great working relationship. If you go back to the history of D'Angelo Russell and Julius Randle and Paul George. But it doesn't matter, right? Because CAA is Marc Gasol's agent. CAA has a roster of clients. Jordan Bell is a rostered client. And to get Marc Gasol what he needs, a CAA client needs to make an amendment on a contract where they're getting $580,000 that they might not otherwise get if the Cavs waive him before the season anyway. So it's we're gonna go with it. Let's go with it. $580,000. It may be more. We may find out later it's more, and that could be Mintz saying let's just round. We want a little bit extra money to facilitate this deal. Certain possibility. Kuzma, ADP is asking me, isn't Kuzma CAA? I believe so. As we all know, clutch is a big part of what the Lakers are doing because half their players are on the clutch roster. Literally, I think at this point, right? Like clutch. He's not there anymore. Clutch. So is it 5, right? And they don't even have 10 players because, I guess because they're going to have Jordan Bell, well, right around half. You get the point. So let's go with this assumption. So let's copy our math and see where we're at. Okay, so he is gone. And let's move this up. I think I know how to, oops. Okay, let me sort this and see if this will sort. Still kind of new to, a little bit new to, I think I could sort this way. I'm a little bit new to, to Google Sheets. Let's do descending. I work mostly in Excel. There it is. Okay, got it. Just sorted by, I like to see it in order of dollar figures. And I know Taylor Horton Tucker is more than or less than this, but it doesn't matter. I want the minimums at the bottom. Okay, so now we need to start plugging in other guys. All right, let's plug in Mr. McKinney. And we're going to replace a minimum guy. And we're going to take off the coloring. And we're going to say fully guaranteed. Now, let's get back to McKinney for a second. Let's say we reverse this, and let's say that Jordan Bell was fully guaranteed, and only $580,000 of McKinney was. And this is what I was trying to show you before. If it was McKinney, and let's say this number was 580,061, he has 3 years. And if we say 3 times 2 plus 1, that equals 7. And so if we divide 580 by 7, the stretch number for the Lakers would be 82,866 over 7 years. So from a financial point of view, this is the guy they should have stretched, except they valued his money more, not his money, his services more than Jordan Bell, because the Lakers could use a defensive wing, and McKinney's not bad, and they could develop with that. Now, they could have gone a different direction. Maybe McKinney is with, again, we have an agent tie here, right? I have his agent, and again, it might not be up to date, as Ron Shade of Octagon. Maybe Ron Shade with Octagon, maybe they didn't want to go through that and just said, hey, Ron Shade of Octagon, we're going to fully guarantee your player. That happened. They had to reach out to him because literally the team can't guarantee his money. They can't unilaterally guarantee the money. They have to do it with the agent. The agent has to agree to that. They have to sign off on it. So if you call Ron Shade up and say, hey, we're going to guarantee your client, great. But if you say to Ron Shade, we're going to cut your client, but we need to guarantee this amount, maybe he's less helpful with that than a CAA client, given that this is a CAA motivation. I don't know. Just talking possibilities, we have no idea. But the better stretch number was Alfonso McKinney by far, right? Because what is going to happen if what we believe to be true, what we think is true. Yeah, okay, so Ralph is saying Schroeder, Wes, and Kostas are Octagon. So is Giannis, right? So there's also a point of not upsetting these guys too. Like, let's get to know your client, right? Because we want to build that relationship even more with your, just like you want to build that relationship with Clutch. The Lakers have shown a tendency of playing the agent game. So good for them because it's working. Okay, so now let's take a look at what Jordan Bell would be. So what we're saying here, this is What's his name? Alfonso. Let's just do McKinney. McKinney's stretch would be much better. So stretch. But it looks like they're stretching Bell, and this is the number that we think they're using. Okay? So the problem with Bell is that he only has 1 year left. Take a look up here. This is his last year. So it's the same logic of Cook. It's going to be stretched over 3 years. So we divide this by 3, and we get this divided by that is that, and we get stretch. And this, to me, is a typo. Looks like the number that it would be. So let's copy again. For those who come back in later, I'm going to cut this. Actually, you know what? We don't even. Let's do this. For those who come in later, Jordan Bell here, and then we'll say on this one, 580 estimated, because it could be more. 580,061 guaranteed. And as you can see, the Lakers are. They haven't signed these. They haven't signed anybody. They're not over a hard cap. I'm saying at some point they will, though, if they sign these players. So we are not illegal. There's nothing illegal about what's happening. These players don't even exist yet. So the Lakers are not over a hard cap at this point. They will never be over a hard cap, by the way. There's no possible way the league will void or ban or say no to any move they make that would put them there. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take Jordan Bell out, place him with a minimum player, and then we're going to insert a line here. If I insert it here, will it total properly still? Nope. 204. Okay, so let's do Jordan Bell. And we said the number was 193. As you can see, it's a better number to do McKinney, but they value clearly McKinney as a player more than Bell. And that's a subjective thing. That is up to the Lakers. I feel like I'm using slightly different shades of gray. All right, this is total. This is the apron total. This is under, because it's always going to be under. All right, so let's take a look. Where are we? So we know that the Lakers have to get to 14 players at some point, and that they're probably going to pay the minimum. They only have the minimum to offer. And let's just put in a note that this is an estimate, and let's format that. Take a look here. Yipes, too many, wrong way. There it is. Okay. All right. So now what else are they doing? So they've solved some of the issue. Now we've got Marc Gasol. Okay, so Marc Gasol. And Marc has been in the league a long time. He's been in the league longer than 10 years. So he is the max at this number. Now normally, and I'm going to copy in the min table. Let's copy this in. Put it right here. I'm going to put it right here so you can see it. You guys with me so far? I think I've been keeping my eye on the chat, and everyone seems to be cool. So let's keep going. So what happens is that if you sign a 1 year minimum of 10 years of service, this is the Marc Gasol 10 plus. You're going to get this amount. And if you sign for 1 year, it's only going to hit you for the team, for the Lakers, at this amount. So Marc Gasol on 1 year would be he'd be this number. Hold on a second. Actual, and then cap / tax hit. Okay. 2-0. I'm glitching again. I think I have this glitch error message. Let's see here. Glitch warning. Maybe. Let me know if we're good. I've got that warning up again, which I said it's the first time I've ever seen this. So, are we good, chat? Okay, we're good. Okay, good. All right, I'll keep asking. We'll just work through it. We'll work through it. Life isn't perfect. All right, so as you can see here, this would be a Gasol on a 1 year. So let's pop that in. This is not what's happening, okay? But we're walking through it, okay? Is Gasol not what's happening? Okay. Is Gasol second year player option, or is it reported as just a 2-year deal? Let me know. I don't know the answer. Okay, so I still have the warning up there, so we still may be a little funky. Quick fix in this. Boom. See how it says 1920? The cap didn't move. I just didn't change the column. 2425. I see some people asking about that. The cap didn't change. The cap is the same in 1920 and in 2021. And in my sourcing, I have not updated. I'm actually working out of my 1920 workbook. So I just, in my 2020 workbook, which I'm building, it is correct, but we're working out of the last one. So no harm. Good question. Just a column labeling error. I know it's 2 years. I know it's a 2-year deal. Oh yeah. So yeah, that's the question. Yeah, I'm it's reported as a 2-year. I can't believe it's a team. Was it reported as a team option or a player? Okay, you guys aren't helping. One saying team option, one saying 2 years, and one saying player option. I'm going to assume, okay, player option, we good? I'm going to assume no matter what that it's not the Lakers option. So it's either fully guaranteed or it's a player option to be that. It could be something as simple as Gasol plays 1 year and retires and gets paid the extra year. That's what Tim Duncan did and Manu Ginobili with the Spurs. It's a way of getting more money. So let's say he wants, and we're going to get into that right now. If he wants a 2-year deal, so this is Gasol on a 1 year. This is, I'm going to bold that, not what's happening. Okay, Gasol instead is getting a 2-year deal. So you understand that what's if he's getting paid 2.6, the cap hit is only 1.6, and the NBA actually reimburses the Lakers the difference. That's on a 1 year. That's not what we have. Let's copy and paste and go to a 2 year. I'm going to need that number though. Just copy this right there. What we actually have is Marc Gasol on a 2 year. And so the number that we have to worry about is this. Copy and paste it. Okay. And so his contract total will be this. And the Lakers do not benefit from this. This would be a one. Can you see? Okay, this would be a 1 year. They are not getting this almost $1 million reimbursement because they signed him to a 2 year. Lakers are fine. This is not about them saving money. This is about them building a basketball team. And they're using every mean possible that they could. So let's get rid of that. This is his actual salary. Let's make it a little clearer. Gasol, bold, and then we'll total it. Okay. So that's what Gasol is going to make. Let's say that Gasol plays for 1 year and then retires. And the Lakers waive him and stretch out the money, but he gets it. They're paying him 5.3 for this year. That is a distinct possibility that Gasol is a 1 year signing over 2 years and if they agreed to this ahead of time, that would be illegal. But the Spurs did it with Tim Duncan. The Spurs did it with Manu Ginobili. Other teams have done it. This is one of the means that teams have to mess with the rules. It's called circumvention. It happens. It is unprovable unless there's writing to prove it or recording. I'm guaranteeing there is not. There's no text message that indicates this. This might be. I'm not even saying it's going to happen. This may be a conspiracy theory on my end, completely. Me just thinking it too deeply. But I could see a path where Gasol is getting 5-3 for 1 year, and they're paying him over 2 seasons, and the Lakers might eat a little of their cap room the next year. Okay, so they wanted to pay Marc more money, so he is getting $5.3 million guaranteed. Where are we on the math now, right? So LeBron, AD, and let's actually resort this. Let's see if I can make sure I get it right. Sort range, Z, C, sort. Okay, cool. So now the Lakers have the room to pay out 3 minimum contracts. In fact, they now can do 4. So now they can field a 15-man roster, which is the goal, right? They don't have much room for a 10-day contract if they have multiple injuries and need to sign a 10-day contract to just have someone to fill in. They don't have that. They might have, let me see here, proration. They could do a rookie on a 10-day. Rookie 10-day. But I wonder, the hard cap calculation, no, they can't. The hard cap calculation, the apron calculation, this is the 2-year vet min 10-day. Offset. Okay, so basically if they paid a rookie on a 10-day, that's not their own draft pick. Doesn't apply to their own draft pick, so that's not their own draft pick. They will be hit on their tax bill or tax on their apron. It's not even that. It's their apron calculation for another $48.05. So the Lakers, where they stand right now, are they're gonna have trouble. Like if they had somebody and they cut somebody, and it's guaranteed money, right? So if you had to cut the 15th player and then sign another guy because they got hurt, let's say they're, God forbid, a career-ending injury, one of the minimum players, you're not going to be able to replace that minimum player at all, period, with the way things are set right now. These are the numbers I'm working with. It's assuming this for AD. It's assuming that for KCP. It's assuming that for Montrez. And this was signed, so I'm not going to color it. Actually happened. None of these, I guess this is an assumption, but it can't be less than that, and it can't be more than that. I will color it because it hasn't happened yet. But this is the only number they can offer. And then Alfonso, we know it's fully guaranteed. And this one, because it happened yet, I'll do this. I'll just put estimate and make that purple. I want it to be gray because it's a stretch number. So okay, so what are the options? Okay, we're gonna keep going, don't worry. But let's go here and say, what if the case the Lakers make is that good that the NBA takes it off? I'm not going to get into this. I've talked about this before on stream. I believe the link is in the workbook even. Let's just say that they have medical records that just show that the Wolves were basically signing a player they never should have played. They should never have passed his physical. And he didn't finish the season with them. I mean, he wasn't able to play that many games because the guy wasn't healthy. If they win this argument, which I don't think they will, but they might, there's a case for it. Let's take it off. That's why they're applying. Maybe, just maybe, they get $5 million in breathing room. That would be a big deal. Now you say, well, when? I get so many tweets. This is like 90% of the tweets asking me, when? Look at it this way. I'm not going to spell it out in the document, but number one, the NBA has been really busy. right? They just finished the season like a month ago, a little bit over. I've lost track at this point. Then they went through a protracted negotiation with the players union, which wasn't even that bad, to get the season. Now that they have the season, they had to figure out all the details of the dates and schedule and all kinds of crap. And now you have free agency where they have to approve 1 million contracts and trades. Now, in the meantime, they have a panel of doctors looking. In theory, this should be happening. Maybe it hasn't even started yet. Maybe they're too busy to even start the investigation. But maybe it's happening in parallel and they're investigating. The NBA is not focused on, we got to hurry this investigation so the Lakers can have more breathing room under the tax. Let's not be crazy. That's not what's happening. It's not punished. I'm not talking about, they don't want the Lakers to have this. It's just, if it was any team, like there's a lot more going on in the world right now for the NBA than worrying about if a player's money should come off. I don't think that John Lur's number has come off of Milwaukee yet either. And that's going to be a more clear-cut case because he retired medically. You go look at his retirement post. His body isn't healthy enough. As long as they agree with that opinion, they'll take his money off. With Luol Deng, he signed another contract and played another season, even though he didn't play a lot of games and ultimately retired after that. It's a much harder case. But they're not punishing the Lakers league. They're just not gonna rush. Oh, am I freezing again? Jeez. Gah. Sorry for the glitching. I'll look into it. I've never had this issue before, so frustrating. But let's not focus on it. Let's not dwell. All right, so look, maybe it happens. I'm going to just say this. Probably doesn't. If it does and you're a Laker fan, be happy. Okay? Let's not assume that. So let's go back to the real numbers. Okay, so what about Markieff Morris? Let's go back to Markieff. So this one's actually a little complex. And the reason that is complex is that Markieff signed last year for that amount. This was 2019-20 disabled player exception for DMC, DeMarcus Cousins. Now, he signed midway, in March, I think it was, because we hadn't shut down yet, right? And I hung out I talked to Markieff in the locker room a bunch, so it was in March. Or it might have been before March, right? It was before March. It was probably late February. It doesn't really matter, but you can see that that's not the minimum, right? So Markieff at the time was 8 YOS. Years of service. So let's go back up and look. Now this normally would change. Let's do this so that we're clear. 2019, 20, and so it's both years. So if you look, this was the actual minimum, and this is the 9-year minimum. He was 8 years. So let's copy both. So while Markieff signed for 1.75, which looks like it's less than the minimum prorates down every single day of the season. There's 177 days. And so I could look up the exact day and we can compute the exact number of what the minimum was on the day he signed. I'm not going to do that right now. But it's not hard to calculate. But let's say that but it's certainly less than 1.75. That's why that Boogie Cousins disabled player exception was really helpful for the Lakers to get a guy who turned out to be very valuable. He had one brain fart in one key moment, but Markieff Morris was very good for them outside of one moment. I think you got to give him a pass on that. I guess you can't see it. There it is. Okay, so there you are. 8 years of service, 9 years of service. Let me make sure we're good. Being asked about Xavier. Is it Xavier? Xavier? This is going to confuse me because we had there's Xavier is like how you normally say it, but remember Xavier, who was on the Lakers? That he was a great. Yeah, I really enjoyed having him around. But that threw off how I now pronounce Xavier. So I don't know how to pronounce that. Xavier Simpson? I don't know. Worry about it later. All right, so here we are. 8 years of service. He got paid less than that. When we compute, he is now 9 years of service. So I'm going to say was 8, now 9. And so they have Markeith's bird rights. Nope, sorry, non-bird rights. Non-bird rights. Allow them to give a raise of 120%. The calculation for this particular situation is that they can pay up to 120% of his current minimum. So even though he made 1.7, if you gave him a raise of, Xavier Henry, thank you, 1.2. So in theory, you can pay him 2.1, right? If you just used his old salary, 120% below the 2.3 min for him now. So that wouldn't work. So what you use instead is you take the current minimum by YOS, multiply times 1.2. So this is what they can pay to Markeith. If they pay him that 2.8, call it, is not the minimum. So there's no discount. There's no reimbursement. He's not the minimum. It doesn't apply, even if it's a 1 year. So here's the challenge. If we replace this minimum player with Markieff Morris at his max number that he's eligible via his rights, now we're over. So you need to cut one player. So if the question is, can the Lakers re-sign Markieff Morris above the minimum? The answer is yes. They just can't pay a 15th player. So that's the conclusion here. Non-bird legal 15th player equals illegal. It's dangerous to go into season with 14 players and the inability to add that. Now, not necessarily, because they could go 14 for a while. Let me get to proration. Opening day. This is a mess, man. I'm not going to be able to easily compute this because the season is shorter. Season's not 100. I have a calculator to figure out prorations. But let's just think about it logically. If the Lakers sign somebody for a rookie minimum all the way up to a 10-year minimum, it's going to hit the books the same number. Actually, that's not true. It would be, it is true. It's going to be this number no matter what, okay? If they do it when there's 0.4 of the season, equals this times 0.4. Nope. So there's got to be 0.3. Yeah. So let's do 33. Yeah. Not even that much. So so when there's 70%, after 70% of the season, they can pay out 400. I'll scroll up in a second. In min, and stay under the hard cap. So this is kind of some of the stuff that we've seen teams like the Warriors deal with, where they were very limited in what they could do with hard caps. So for instance, what they could do is, let's copy this here. After 70% of the season, 486,169, and this is 15th player. I don't have the stream. I'll scroll in a second. Stream time to calculate. I don't want to waste you guys' time. I can figure that out, but it's no point right now. So yeah, they could get to a 15th, but we're talking about 70% of the way into the season, which is not a good way to go. Unfriendly to the Lakers. So what can they do? Well, they can easily sign him for 1 year. And the 1 year for Markieff would be, we had it there. We'll just get it here again. 1 year min. But it would hit their cap at this number. So yes, Markieff could come back, but it's more realistic that if he's going to come back, it's going to be at that number. So just the min. But early bird, we'll talk about that some other time, rights after a year and an implicit no trade via 1 year bird. I'm not going to talk about that right now. That's out of the scope of the discussion. So they basically can't trade him without his permission. Let's just leave it at that. So yes, it could happen, and I'm not going to let's color it. Check on the stream. We still good? Okay. All right. So Markieff Morris. So yes, Markieff could come back. Can he come back at more than the minimum? Let's put in a 15th. The answer is no. Not if they can't pay him his money and go to 15 players. So the answer is they can pay Markieff the min and go to 15. They can't pay him his non-bird and do 15 players. It's problematic. So all right. So let's take a moment and just do a quick depth chart. I like to do this as we start to feel things out and as we start to piece it together, right? What do the Lakers need? Well, let's make the assumption. I don't know what they're going to do, but we're just going to start plugging it in and see what comes. I'll just put in Dennis and S. And we'll put in KCP. We'll put in LeBron. Scroll up a little bit so you can see what I'm doing. And let's put in Anthony Davis, and let's put in Marc Gasol. Okay. Let's put in, I'm going to assume that Montrezl Harrell is a power forward. Sorry. Is a center, just like the Clippers had. When he was on the Clippers, he played, if not 100% of his time at center, then it's probably 99% of his time at center. And the Lakers may play differently, but let's plug it in like this. Kuz will have, and we have not, let me see here. Okay, so let's unfriendly, let me do this before we do that. For those who come back, this is no longer unfriendly. Okay, all right. That's what threw me. Okay, make sure we didn't lose track. Okay, so you should be able. Okay, so Alfonso McKinney. Do I have him in here? Yep. So let's put him in at the 3, and Wesley Matthews. Let's do Wesley Matthews, and we'll do DS, and then we've got Caruso, and we've got THT, who I think will be a part of the rotation. Okay, so and how many do we have? Right, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and then we don't really have Markieff at this point. So this is what threw me. Let's scroll that down. Give me a moment. I knew something was off. Copy and paste. Get rid of that. I'm going to take off Markieff. We're not assuming that he's back. We're going to piece it together in a moment. Okay, let me move this over. We're not assuming that Markieff is back. Darn it. Okay, almost there. Okay. All right, so now, is this what's going to happen? I do not know. It could be something more like this. This is a very possible lineup. Okay. Dennis Schroeder, Talen Horton-Tucker playing the backup point. I've heard that he is, I guess you can't see that. I've heard that he is valued by the coaching staff and they want him to get minutes and they believe he's earned minutes. You could flip-flop this if you want. It's semantic. Just like it's also possible that they may turn this on its head entirely. Like it could be something like this. We may still have KCP here, and we might have Kuzma starting. And AC, THT, let's go back to this. And McKinney. Did I leave out one? I don't know. The Montrez could be here. It doesn't matter. I don't know what they're going to do. It's up to and I would say that it's really not up to the front office. Like, they're certainly consulting with the coaching staff on what they envision as they do this. But a good GM is not going to ask their coach, what move should we make? That's not true. Of course they should say that. As they're making moves, they're not asking for permission to the coaching staff. They're telling the coaching staff, this is what we're doing. But the coaches should be in on the conversation, but should only have a level of input. They shouldn't be decisive. It's also why, I left Dennis Schroeder. Wait, no. What did I do? Did I leave someone out? No, I think we're good. No, Kuzma is a wing. Kuzma is a wing for this team. Kuzma is look, LeBron, let's look how it really is, okay? It's LeBron at the point. We're talking about offense. That's LeBron. And if you put Dennis Schroeder off the bench, and let's say you started Caruso, who would be the three? It doesn't matter. LeBron is the point guard of this team. So we're talking about defensive matchups. So could Kuzma start as a defensive wing in the Danny Green spot? Yes, I think that's there. He needs to earn his value as a wing defender this year. I'm just saying, I don't know if he starts. I don't have him in my lineup as the starter. I'm just saying, I'm curious to see this is not a stream about their possible flexible positions, but they have a lot of flexibility. So that is 11 players. And if we count here, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 9, 10, 11. So where else are the needs? So for one, you need basically ball handlers, ball handling guards. I'm glitching again. Let me know how we are. I see the warning again. I'm keeping an eye on this. Yep, I see an F. I think. How we doing, chat? We good? I see it starting to scroll. I need someone to tell me we're good before I continue. We good, chat? I see chat, but I don't see anyone hearing me. All right, well, I want to continue. Lagging. See, yeah. Okay, we're good? Okay. I see someone said we're good. In and out. On and off. All good. Okay, so in and out. All good. Now we good? Okay. Spotty. Not great. THT is Taylor Horton Tucker. Okay, wait, we good? We go. Okay, all of a sudden it's coming in. It's good, good, good. Okay, I think we're good. Okay. Okay. Appreciate you guys working with me. I'll research into what's happening. I might reboot my router after all this is over and make sure that it's got a clean connection. Next stream I might run a wire. I've never had any issues. So THT is Taylor Horton Tucker. THT. Dynamite. Okay, so where was we? Okay, so now it becomes a question of what do the Lakers need? So let's put it this way. Floor leader. last year was LeBron and Rondo. This year, LeBron, and is that what Schroeder can do? Does he have that in his wheel or in his bag? I don't know. He's someone whose decision making I did not trust. But last year he was awesome. And the Thunder were the best crunch time team in the league. And he was a big part of that. But they also had Chris Paul. So, you know what I'm saying? Hard to say. But they may assume that they're going to get that from the combination of, let's put it this way, some floor leadership. AC, THT. And now one's a rookie, so it's asking a lot. If they sign another vet point guard, is there someone who's capable of really getting minutes when you are going to give those minutes to Schroeder, Caruso? THT's the young guy getting those minutes. And then you also have KCP and Wes Matthews. Yeah, I know there's a delay in the chat, but that's from Diabolic Pixels. I know there's a delay in the chat, but whenever I've had a glitch, I've said like, "Hey, we good," and then it's been like that. But this last one, it froze up. It didn't look like things were rolling. So it says excellent. It said excellent connection. It's got an excellent connection the whole time, except when it doesn't. So all good. I appreciate you folks very, very, very much. Another time, plug time. While we're chatting, hit like, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell to make sure that you can get in on this. I'm willing to do this for every team, and every team that's happened this offseason is fascinating to me. I'm sure we have a lot of Laker fans who just want to know what the Lakers did and understand them, and that's fine. But to me, understanding all this stuff is great. The other thing is if you have a chance to subscribe to, or rather sign up on my Patreon, that'd be great as well. If not, a donation on Venmo would be fantastic because I need to finance what I'm doing here. So much, much appreciated. If you don't have the means, forget about it. Don't even worry about it. Just happy that you're here. Share this stream with others. Let people know what I do and try to get them into it. If you know people who might like this, very, very important. Very important to me to get a following so that I know that this is gonna be worth my time. I would love to do it all the time, but yeah, someone's asking for the Bucks, someone asked for the Clippers. I'm happy to do them all. If it's a regular thing, I'll get a moderator. They'll moderate the live chat. I've got some people who are going to help me with some of the graphics and how to do this better. But let's get back into the numbers. This is what we really care about. That was our promotion time. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, Patreon, Venmo, all that. The Venmo is right here at the top. It's just at Eric Pincus. Patreon, at Eric Pincus. Just search for that. Twitter, if you don't follow me by now, at Eric Pincus. So let's go back to the bottom. So now it's a question of filling in the gaps. And we've reached a more of a concrete, we were very concrete in figuring out the numbers, right? Now we're more subjective, right? So what I said they need some floor leadership, and I think they're going to get that from LeBron and Dennis and some of Alex Caruso and Taylor Horton-Tucker. Some are going to be better than others. You can argue they could use a vet point guard who doesn't need to play a lot, who can come in and run the show, like how JJ Barea does for the Mavericks. Like, someone in that role is arguably helpful. I don't know if there's a vet that fills that need that is really capable of that. But, you could say, maybe the Lakers get a JJ Barea type vet to run the point in emergency, right? It doesn't sound like it's an overwhelming need, okay? We're gonna get to Dudley. I love Jared Dudley. I'm not gonna. He's one of my favorites as far as a human being. He's hysterical. He's a fun guy to talk to. What else do they need? Okay, they need stretch big like Markieff. Now Markieff Morris is not a stretch 4-5 in the truest sense of the word, but for them he absolutely was in the playoffs. You saw how valuable that was against the Rockets. Montrezl Harrell is not a three-point shooter. Kuzma as a power forward is not what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about a guy who's more of a wing. I'm talking about a big. Montrezl Harrell is short, relatively speaking, of course, but he's a big. He's a center. And Kuz, to me, is not really a big. He's more of a wing. And so, for me, they need to add a stretch 4. That literally could be Markieff. It makes a ton of sense, right? And no, I'm not talking about Korver. Eric Hahn recommended Korver. Absolutely, as we talk about the final spots, I'm talking, more of a 4-5, and someone who can basically play next to Anthony Davis. And basically, we need a replacement. If you're the Lakers, we're only talking about the Lakers right now. A replacement for Markieff if it's not Markieff. Okay, someone who could stretch the floor and hit the three, has to space the floor. That's what I'm talking about. And we're not talking about like a Kuzma, who, if you put Kuzma on Jokic, is a disaster because, physics. Markieff is big and strong and is at a disadvantage against Jokic. But you can do that, right? Kuzma, to me, is a 2-3 more than he's a 4-5. But he's a 2-3-4. That's what he is. All right, so here's the suggestion that I think makes some sense from Old Boy. And there's another one. Showtime Lakers 17. Yep. Ursan. So this is kind of where I was going. Dwayne Dedman. Okay, keep it coming. You guys are good. DS. Kaminsky. Batum. No. So Bruce Chang. I'm not. Did Anthony Tolliver end up somewhere? Tolliver? Yes. Kaminsky? Yes. Ish. And then there's another question. Another answer. Boogie Cousins. Very possibly so. Boogie is not really a stretch, but that would work because he's an offensive threat away from the basket. Even if you say like Boogie is a threat at the elbows, you can make that work. So I'm going to just make a quick list. Stretch-ish bigs. We had Ilyasova, and this is not ranked by order. Ilyasova, Dedman, who we expect, and he's not a great shooter, but he's had some stretches where he could. Who we expect to be bought out. Cousins. No, Peja Stojakovic. No, come on now. Where was it? What was the other name we were looking at? Kaminsky. Tolliver. Again, do you want to put Tolliver on Jokic in switches and stuff? It's not, what I like about Morris is the toughness. Morris to me would be the one because he's the guy there. Cousins, sure. Dedman, sure. Ish. Because he's more physical and has the size. Is there more? Thoughts on Lakers? Okay, you're asking. Yeah, tell me if there's any news here. I'm gonna just pop on Twitter and just check it out. There's no breaking news, right? There's no new. You're asking questions. Okay, no, I don't see any new signings or anything like that. Okay, how long we've been going? I can't even see that. We've been almost 2 hours, which is usually where I like to cap it. Okay, so where else do they need? Stretch big. So stretch big, floor leader, wing defenders, shooters. Okay, so That just helps if they have some ball handling. Okay. So, within that we have KCP, we have Wesley Matthews, we have Alfonso McKinney. They want Kuz. This is what they want of Kuz. And then so Kuzma adds another dimension in that he is a scorer through and through, more so than just a spot-up shooter. He needs to improve at the spot-up shooting, and he needs to learn how to be that scorer in the context of playing with other players like LeBron and AD, and now Montrezl. I mean, Kuzma's value on this team is very different. How does his offense fit into that when he's just not going to get a lot of shots? That's an interesting name. Labissiere. All right, and then just shooters, even if they don't really defend. Some might put Kuzma in this. That's not how the Lakers view him. That's not how he played. Oh, Marvin Williams retired, from what I understand. Okay, shooters would be Korver, 100%. I think that makes a lot of sense. And then there's an intangible. Locker room guy who can defend and shoot and should return. And there's only one guy on this list. Does it make sense in the sense of like, there's calculations that analytics people do that's like win shares and stuff. Does Jared Dudley impact your win share? Maybe not on the court in a game, but I'm telling you, he does. And this team has a lot of pressure on it, and it has some young guys. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to punch him in as 15. Okay. Taj Gibson would be really interesting. Definitely on this list. I'd bold him. If Taj Gibson would come for the minimum, okay. Trevor Ariza buyout? Hey, if so, sure. Do I think that happens? I have no clue. I don't know what the Thunder... He's on the Thunder, right? I don't know. There are other shooters. You could put in certainly like... Is Ellington... this would be wing defenders. This would be like G-Rob. He's a third, right? I'm seeing in chat. I'm sorry if I'm not getting everyone's names. Reddick, no, he's too expensive. He's not happening. Not being bought out. Wayne Allen, Zaire Smith. I don't know Smith's game well enough. Gerald Green. He's sort of in between. He's sort of either on this list or on this list. Yeah, I'm not really formatting this properly. Like, I don't know if he can defend ish. He's not bad. He's definitely better. Willie Cauley-Stein went back to Dallas, I heard. Wilson Chandler, sure. Oops. Did I just lose? Did I close it? I hit the wrong button. Give me a second. Bring it back. I actually closed our Google Sheet. Give me a second here. That's not going to do. Not sure what keystroke I hit, but it's not a good keystroke. Just a second. 5, 4. Come on, load it up. Okay, it's loading. Come on, give it to me. There it is. I don't know what was on the screen. What was on the screen all that time? I got to look back at the stream. Make sure there wasn't anything that you shouldn't see. I don't think that would be possible, but you never know. Okay, there we are. Lordy. Okay, hold on. Almost there. Okay. Swaggy P. Okay. I'll have to look back at this. Okay, yeah, I see it right now, actually. Yep, there it is. It's all black. Okay, cool. We want that. It should be good now. Give it. We're on lag with the chat's on a lag. So I closed the document. Like I said, I've been in Bakersfield. My daughter played 5 games. She's probably asleep right now. Waiting for it to catch up. Come on, catch up. There it is. Okay, we're back. Okay, so wing defenders. I suppose I should just, let's make this a little bigger. Give me a second here. We're almost done. We're going to wrap up the stream soon. I told my wife we'll try to stop in general at 2 hours. Batum. I don't know if Batum has anything left. Hill, I don't know if he has anything left. Now there's also clutch clients is another category, right? Waiters. J.R. Smith. You know, those guys could be back. So I'm not going to sit here and kind of, you know, play the speculation game right now. But as we go through, pop the rotation down. What I would like to see is something like this with Jared Dudley there, and a stretch 4 or 5, and then we have one more category, which we'll get to in a second. So let's just say Dudley. I feel like, do we lose something? No. Okay, so let's put this in. Markieff type. So either Markieff or the type of Markieff. So that's this. Jared Dudley. Maybe a vet point guard. And a shooter, Kyle Korver. Just take a quick peek at the free agents at point. Yeesh. It is not a good free agent list. But let's do, I'll do this. Now, I feel like they need a floor leader. I was going to throw in a defender. But no one's going to get any time. So, man, this is a weak list. The weakest free agent class for point guards. I don't, fine. Shabazz. I'm not even going to put it in there, but, Shabazz. I saw someone mention that. Napier. Didn't he play with LeBron before? Shaq Harrison. These are not vet enough for me, in my point of view. Yogi. That's about it. It's rough out there. Someone mentioned Lance. Lance Stevenson. I don't think they go that direction because he's not an organizer. He's not a floor organizer. I don't think Lakers revisit Darren Collison. Jamal Crawford. Scroll this up. Jamal Crawford. There are others out there. Let's see if there's anyone else. Yeah, that's about it. And I'm sure I'm missing some. Yeah, Jeremy Lin. That's an interesting one. Okay, that's fair. Jeremy Lin, for sure. Kai Bowman as a defender. I don't think are they going to really get a young player? Where's the minutes going to come? But okay, so there's another way of looking at it. We have this list. Or maybe the 14th or 15th. Well, I guess 13th or 14th are young guys to develop. That's where you look at a Kai Bowman or the like. Certainly possible that they use a roster spot to Andrew Gadlack. Mini Mamba. Jeremy Wynn makes, waiters, of course. And then there's one more, which is the, the just in case they have a shot at Giannis. Oof, how did I get off a little bit? At some point I got off by a column. Should be good. Yep, same math. Give me a moment. Punch it in here. Let's do this. Costas. Let's say they re-sign Costas and a Kyle Korver type and a Markieff type. That's it. It's your 15. That's your 15 right there. So this can either be a shooter, right? Or it could be a defender on the wing who may be okay shooting, but not great. But it's a legal lineup based on this tax. So that's all they got. They've got room for 4 minimum people. This is assuming, I think we've kind of hit the completion point here. I'm going to look through the chat, but I think as far as going through the numbers, what we looked at is we looked at how did the Lakers get here, right? We have LeBron, AD, Schroeder. And if we were to look at a cap sheet, this would be lower, but this is his incentive number. KCP at this number. If it was lower, if AD signed for less, it would change the math. If Lil Deng comes off, it would change the math. Wesley Matthews, Kuzma. Obviously, if they trade any of these players, it changes the math, but it depends on what you're bringing back. Caruso, Marc Gasol, McKinney, which we're assuming that he's fully guaranteed. We're assuming that Jordan Bell is stretched at the minimum required to make that deal legal. THT, a Markieff type, a Kyle Korver type, a Costas type, or is he? Well, see, I don't know where he's going to play, but maybe they sign Costas anyway, and he doesn't play, or maybe they find minutes for him to play. I don't know where he would possibly play, but if the Markieff type was more of a 4 and less of a 5, I guess, and maybe, but Rob Pelinka, you look at his history, and it's also not just Rob, it's Jeannie Buss and Linda Rambis, Kurt Rambis, Rob, and the staff that make these kind of decisions. The Buss family, Joey, Jesse, all of their staff. I'm leaving out people. Whoever's making these calls are going to make these calls. But if you look at the history of where the Lakers have gone, they got KCP, that led to LeBron. LeBron led to AD. LeBron led to all the clutch clients. And then you bring in Schroeder, who is on this, has the same agents as Giannis. Now, I think that the Bucks getting Drew should be a sign that they're going to get Giannis to stick. But, I haven't run the numbers for the Lakers on what if. And if they feel like they have that possibility, then they're going to keep Costas. But if they feel like there's no possibility, then maybe Costas doesn't happen. Costas, his two-way has expired. So if you want to look at the Lakers two ways, they have one, and wasn't there like an Xavier or Xavier? I don't think it was a two-way. I thought he was in Exhibit 10. But was he a two-way signing? They have Devontae Kaycock. I actually have this at the top of the page right here. Just copy and bring it down. We're going to wrap up the stream in just moments. I'm just trying to clean out the tidbits. I hope you guys appreciated this. I thought it was fun. I learned something myself as far as what the Lakers might need to do or where they're at monetarily. Under contract, he's a free agent. So Kaycock is still here. So if we were to expand this, whatever, we don't need to. We get the point. Two-way. All right. So there it is. You can see that right there. Okay. So I'm going to work on some of this, how to use YouTube a little bit differently as far as presentation. And, but I didn't have a chance. I've been out, like I said, I've been busy. I've been in Bakersfield. Looking back at the chat, I can't possibly have, I didn't get to see everything. It's overwhelming, how many people are here. I can't even tell you how awesome it is to have the support that you guys are giving me. Love it. I'm going to see if there's any last questions, but again, like the video and subscribe, share it, hit the notification bell, pass it on to people. If you are generous and have the means, hit me up with a Venmo donation. Sign up for Patreon. In the future, in most streams, I didn't do it today. I share a Discord server. I have a Discord server that was really active and a lot of fun through the last few days, last week. A lot of new people joining in, and we're just talking things as they go. There's every so often I drop a little bit of things I'm hearing that I wouldn't put on Twitter. Nothing that's broken, no crazy, gigantic scoops or anything like that. But I do, have that. It's easy to have a good relationship and hit me back and forth. I'm going to be giving those out to anyone who contributes to the Venmo or the Patreon. And in the future, I do give those out sometimes in stream and just do a 24-hour invite. But at some point, I have to make it so that it's a Patreon thing. So for now, it's kind of loose. But if you donate, I didn't do the link today, but may do a free link one day, maybe not. But if you do a donation, I'll lock you in. So hit me up with an email, eric.pincus@gmail.com. And I think that's about it for today. I'm going to just one last check through the chat. Did I miss anything at all? Delonte West. Yeah, I really hope Delonte can continue the rehab that he's going through. I'm happy that Mark Cuban did what he did to get him off the streets. All right, let's see. Two ways do not count against the cap. Do not count against the hard cap. CG is asking about what if the apron next year stays the same, but the Lakers do not have a hard cap next year, so it doesn't matter. They could have a $200 million payroll next year. Yeah, the issue is someone's asking, what about a center? So Markieff Morris would be that additional center. Could the Lakers get a Whiteside or another straight up 5, like a true 5? I think that's where Dedmon fits in. I think Dedmon kind of fits he's a center, but he can shoot a little bit, and he will be a free agent at some point. So to me, if you're going to go that, I don't dig Whiteside. I don't think Whiteside guarding Jokic does anything for you, flat out. I don't think he does anything to guard Jokic. Now, I didn't watch the matchups of the Blazers and the Nuggets and say, how did Whiteside do? I don't think his body type bothers. He's a shot blocker. He's good at blocking shots. I don't think he's a great defender. These are more subjective takes. My expertise is in the numbers, and I feel like I'm pretty decent as a talent evaluator. But if a team wanted to, pick my brain or, use my services, I would be only putting in my basketball takes as necessary. My main thing is the numbers. But anyway, so as far as someone's asking, Morris at 1.6, Morris would be 2.6. But as we discussed, the vet minimum. So any of these players here would get more, and I think that's so. Jared Dudley, how much would Jared Dudley get? Jared Dudley would get 2.6, or 2, just under that. We posted the number earlier. If you scroll up, it's the minimum table. So as you scroll up, this would be Jared Dudley. This would be Markieff. So they're listed at 1.6 because it's a 1-year min. 1 year. Let's do it for Dudley. 1 year min. It's actually 2.57 rounding mil. So, like you're saying, someone mentioned Markieff wouldn't take 1.6. Of course not. He legally can't. But that's what his cap number would be. But more importantly, that's what his tax number would be, as long as he's on a 1 year. I really thought Jordan Bell would be like, okay, they're going to put... Okay, so Fuji01 is saying Dave McMenamin, who I've known for quite a while, and he's a very, very good reporter, is reporting McKinney fully guaranteed, Bell getting $580K and waived and stretched. Well, did we not calculate 580, right? Where's the number? See, this is, people say, oh man, how'd you know that? It's like, well, how did I know that Bell was 580? If you watch the stream, you know how I know that Bell was guaranteed for 580. Now, he might have been guaranteed for more. Certainly possible. But that's the number that I have. And so if you were watching the stream, you knew that before McMenamin put that in his Twitter or article or whatever. It's just following the math. Now, I have to verify that. Even if Dave is probably 100% right. Just like Bobby. I can't take any reporter's word for it. My job is not to do that. It's to get fact, and they are probably communicating fact. Certainly very, very likely that they're communicating fact, but as a journalist, I can't assume that they're correct. It's my job to get the fact, so I'll get the fact. But that's what I think it is. I think that's about it. We're just checking the chat. Can Costas come back? Costas come back on a two-way? It's a good question. I feel like no, but maybe yes. Let me double check his. I think maybe one more year actually. Let me take a quick look at his years of service. Costas is 2, right? Yeah. Okay, so that's a good question. That's a question worth just spending a few seconds on. Man, we covered quite a bit. Costas, it's a good question. Costas is 2 years of service. He spent 2 years on a two-way, starting with the Mavs, waived, claimed by the Lakers. That's the same contract. So he is eligible for a 1 year two-way, but no more, not more. A player cannot spend more than 3 years on the same team path, via two-way. So when I say team path, I mean Mavs to Lakers. Like we're following the path of the contract. The Lakers have signed KCP, by the way. That's official. Just came through on the Lakers press release. Okay, so that's just a quick question. So that's another way of doing it. And it's not unrealistic. Just go right like this. Kaycock, Costas, 0, 0, two-way. Okay. Let's make them numbers and purple. Nope. Not purple for him because he is under contract. But yeah, this is very legal and feasible in theory. So let's do Deadman type. No, I don't think they're going to do a Deadman type with Markieff. So let's do Kai Bowman. Why not? I'm just guessing. Please do not assume this. Like a young player who needs to develop. Whatever. Still legal. All right, so let's go back to the questions. I think we can wrap this up. I think that's it. Get Isaiah Thomas. No, not going to happen with LeBron. Now, I a lot of Batums. Really? Really? You think so? Wilson Chandler, you can argue that up. Kyle Korver for sure. If they can get Korver, I think that could totally happen. Makes sense. Kyle Korver type. That's number 13. I think that's it. Beefy Kong 1. You're welcome. Glad you enjoyed it. D-Rod. I can almost... Like, you can't 100% say... D-Rod says Dave took it from me. Come on now. I can 99.9% guarantee you that Dave McMenamin did not watch my stream and then wrote an article guessing, reporting my number. Dave is well connected. He's good. He's not going to do something like that. And I mean, that's nonsense. It's funny. I'm sure you were joking. No, and J-Max suggesting the same thing. No. Come on, guys. Come on. Yeah, Powell. I would like to see Powell signed on a non-guaranteed deal, which would also be the case with the Xavier, whatever. The Xavier, the guy with the Z, he's probably a training camp contract, Exhibit 10, somebody who could be turned into a two-way or play in the G League. Buddy Hield. No, how are you going to add a $25 million player, Calvin Bruce? You're not getting Buddy Hield. Mid-season trades, you can trade any of these guys, and you just can't get over this number. So as long, mid-season, talk about that later. We're like, how can they get to the roster? Korver's old. LeBron is old. Korver can shoot. Glenn Robinson III is a good choice. Dedmon, I can argue it. Batum, I guess I can argue it. Nwaba's under contract. He's with Houston. Markieff, George 930. You're gonna have to rewatch the stream because I've gone over the Markieff. It's all in the notes. It's all in the stream. So we covered it. I don't know where the timestamps are. I might have time to look through later. I might not. I need a moderator to do this kind of stuff, to be honest. So if you're interested, reach out. Alex Len. Yeah, Alex Len could work. Sure. He's pretty big. Anybody who signs is not going to get a lot of minutes. So good luck with Mitchell Robinson. I think we're done. I think that's it. We went way long. How long did we go? 2 hours and 15 minutes. Evan Turner, you can argue it. But that's not really the point of the stream. The point of the stream is to see how the money worked. How they fill in the last few slots. You see that there are 4 slots for the Lakers to fill. I would like to see 1 to Dudley. They can re-sign Quinn Cook. No, they can't. They stretched him. No. Let me put a note here. Cannot re-sign Quinn Cook because they stretched him. So unfortunately, Quinn Cook cannot be brought back. If Ariza is bought out, yes, I'm a fan of Ariza from the time that I covered him. Very nice guy. Really, he's older. He's not what he was then, but come on. Cousins, yeah, we've gone over this. I don't want to repeat stuff. I think we're done. All right, so I just got back from Bakersfield. I'm gonna go unpack. Check my emails, play some online video games, chill, maybe actually check on my kids and my wife and see how they're doing. My wife was out in Bakersfield for some of it. But I think that's it, folks. All right, hope you learned something. Reach out, like, subscribe, share. What is it? Notification bell. Do I like the roster better than last season? I mean, Lakers got a good roster. I mean, Marc Gasol is older, but go watch Sabonis playing against Shaq. Shaq, or Arvydas Sabonis, not DeMontis. When he was against Shaq back in the right around 2000 when they beat the Blazers, Shaq just could not go through Sabonis. Just couldn't do it. He was too big. Marc Gasol is kind of that. Jokic just can't go through Through Marc Gasol. So he's guarded by Marc Gasol. He's going to need to be a passer and not a driver, whereas he can overpower smaller guys, right? And the Lakers have the luxury of not needing Gasol for major minutes, which is why I think they need to add one more player. Not going to play Call of Duty. Going to play Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes on my phone. Maybe Marvel Strike Force. Those are my 2 guilty pleasures. And on that, I think I'm going to call it. All right, folks. We'll talk soon. Thank you.